Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Ask About Altrusa. I am truly delighted to have not one, but two guests for you this morning. So please welcome Linda Smith and Brenda Smith. And no, you're not seeing double. We have two guests who are twins, if you didn't already guess. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's wonderful that you were both able to make your busy schedules work to be on with me. I know we talked about doing individual podcasts, but I think this is going to be so much more fun. So we're going to start with just a basic question for anybody watching who does not know who you are. So a little bit of information about family, any pets you've got, you in general. Brenda, do you want to start? Tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm happy to tell you. I am an insurance agent, and I just went over my 48 and a half years with the company. So it's been a long, long career. I also love to be with my family. I'm also involved very much in my church, and I'm also involved very much in the Republican Party and was just appointed the chair of our county GOP. So that's keeping me busy because it's election year.
I'm sure it is. Linda.
Yes. Well, Brenda and I are twins, if you have not figured that out by now. We confuse people.
You've muted yourself again, Linda.
Oops. Am I unmuted now? Okay, I'm sorry. For those of you that don't know, we are twins. So we like to confuse you at conferences and conventions. People think one of us changes clothes a lot, but it's really two of us. We actually live together. We moved to Kansas in 1966 from Kentucky when Dad got transferred. And at 13, you don't have a choice. You go with the family. So Kansas is home now. I work at the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum in Abilene. And I've been there for a little over 48 years. Looking to retire sometime soon. My boss says no, but I say yes. So we'll see what happens. Although with pandemic, I've been working from home for 14 weeks. And I'm really ready to be back on our campus and back with our visitors and researchers.
I can understand that. I have actually visited the Eisenhower Museum when we were up there for a motorbike rally. So it's a great place.
Cool.
And one of my favorite things to do is visiting presidential libraries.
I've been to all but one.
You're ahead of me. I've been to 3, maybe 4. I'd need to sit and think about that. Linda, I'm going to ask you first. Who introduced you to Altrusa?
Ida Brown from the Emporia Club is actually who introduced me. And it's kind of an interesting story because she was attending an elder hostel at the Eisenhower Library that I was hosting. And she was there for a week. And on the final day, she said to me, you would make a good Altrusan. And I said, what's an Altrusan? Even though we'd had a club in Salina for 46 years at that time, they weren't well publicized. I didn't know much about them. And so she said, well, I'll find the contact information and send to you. So the next week, I got a note in the mail with the contact information. I told Brenda about it, and she said, I know her. And it was one of her people that she insured. So we called Sandy and said, can we come to a meeting? And went to a meeting in October. Ida told me in September, October, we're at a meeting. And by the end of that meeting, we're like, yeah, this is something we think we'd like to do. And less than a year later, I was club president.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah.
So, Brenda, why Altrusa? What convinced you to join?
Well, Linda and I had been very involved with the JCs. And back at that point in time, when you turned 40, you aged out of the JCs. So we were really kind of looking for something that we could get involved in. And so when I found out that Sandy was the president and she was one of my clients and I knew her really well, it was a natural fit for us to go to an organization that did service in the community. Although at the beginning, our club didn't do a lot of service. We did a fundraiser where we wrote checks. And we said, if we're going to be involved, we've got to change the way. So we kind of got in as officers, and we started doing service projects.
Linda, what convinced you? Why Altrusa for you?
Um, the women who were members were also welcoming. And I had a lady who has been a member for many, many years. She's emeritus now, and she told me, "You'll never be involved with a group of people that care more than Altrusa does." She just said the thing I like about our club is we're ladies, but we get along. We don't fight. There's no bickering. We work side by side and do our projects. Um, and it's been true. We've been members for 30 years now, and I've never once been to a club meeting where we've bickered. We do get along, and I think it's because we all have that core mission. We know what we want to do for our community, and we generally like one another.
Which is always a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Staying with you for the moment, Linda, for the benefit of people watching who might not know you, describe to me your Altrusa journey from when you started, positions you've held, things you've done with Altrusa.
Okay. Well, first of all, I didn't join Altrusa. I became an Altrusan. Marilyn Bell, who was governor of Altrusa, has always told us, you don't join Altrusa, you become an Altrusan. And it's true, because it becomes a way of life for you. I've held most of the club offices, president numerous times. I've served on the district board, and I was governor for 3 years. And people might say 3 years, that's kind of a long time. But our district was not in sync with International Biennium. And so to get us in sync, the board decided that when I became governor, I should serve for 3 years. So now we're in sync. I served as International Service Development Chair under Donna Gerritsen. And then I was International Director for the last biennium. And this biennium, I'm serving as International Vice President. And I'm really missing out going to the district conferences this year because that's one of my favorite things to do. Excited that District 12 is able to get theirs rescheduled. So I should be going to Washington State in October to be with the District 12 Altrusans. And I'm really, really looking forward to that because I've never been to the Northwest.
Brenda, tell us a bit about your Altrusa journey.
Well, my journey began about the same time as Linda, and I became a club officer. And as she said, I've had president several times, but we've been training new people to take over those offices. I served on the district level as a service chair, as the membership chair. And then when Linda was governor, I served as her district secretary. And then after that, I was elected as the first vice governor of District 8, and then governor-elect, and then served as governor also from 2016 and 2017, I think were my years. And just getting to see people at the district conferences when I was governor and traveling to all the clubs. You know, Altrusa is a way of life, as Linda said, and some of my closest, dearest friends are from Altrusa. I would never have known those ladies if it hadn't been for Altrusa and going to district conferences. So those out there that are thinking about, maybe I haven't ever been to a district conference, you need to go because you will make lifelong friends.
Absolutely. Thinking about club, district, even international, Brenda, what would you say has been your favorite project?
Well, I would have to say that our Days for Girls project that our club did, we celebrated our 75th anniversary last year. So we came up with this big idea that we'd make 75 Days for Girls kits in honor of our 75th anniversary. That's a lot of cutting and a lot of sewing and a lot of putting stuff together. But we did it as in a team, and we had our, we will come to the office. I have a great big office, and we spread out and everybody worked on the project. It was a good team building project for our club as well as helping those gals in third world countries that if they don't have these kits, they can't go to school when they have their periods. They're shunned, they're set in caves. They just can't do anything when they're having their period because they don't have products like we have in the States. So being able to help girls in third world countries to be able to continue their education, because our club is all about literacy, and we felt like this was also a literacy project because girls are going to continue their education.
Absolutely. It is a wonderful project. Linda, I'm going to switch over to you just now and ask, because, maybe your favorite project is not the same. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to unmute your mic. There we go.
There we go. As Brenda said, our club is very literacy focused, and we give away thousands and thousands of books every year. We have free little libraries all over our city. We put one in a little community just south of us that didn't have a library, and a little boy watched us every time something was going on because he was so anxious to get a book. But one of my favorite experiences was at Halloween. We used to call it book and treat, and we did like a cake walk, but you got a book instead of a cake. And we had a little girl who came up to us and picked out a book, and she said she'd never had a book of her own before. And that just made me want to cry, because kids need books. We had another child who, she was a teenager, and we had some books for teenagers too, and she picked out one book, and she just kept looking and looking and looking, and we said, you can take more than one if you want. And she said, oh, can I? And so she ended up probably with 10 or 12 books that day. And she was so excited. And just to see that look on the kids' faces when they get their books, because, like I say, some of them, they don't have a library at home. And so we're helping to build those libraries at home.
Absolutely. And every child, in my opinion, should have books at home. It's
Exactly.
how I was brought up, and I can't imagine not having spent time curled in a corner and just in a different world. So, Linda, I want you to think about this Altrusa journey we've talked about. Is there one moment in time that stands out for you that just will always give you goosebumps thinking about it?
There's a couple. One, when I was installed as governor, that was very special. Two past governors, Marilyn Bell, who unfortunately is no longer with us, and Betty Absher were my installing officers. And that was really special to me, because in my whole Altrusa journey, I've always looked up to those two past governors, and they've helped mentor me along the way. And so to have them there as my installing officers was just really, really special. And the other, I served on the Centennial Committee for Altrusa International, and we spent several years planning and planning and planning, and to actually get to the birthday party and see that room full of hundreds and hundreds of people, double what we usually get at a convention. That just brought goosebumps to me, to see so many people there to celebrate Altrusa and our 100 years of accomplishment.
I know Leanne mentioned last week that she had the same thoughts. That was one of her favorite moments, was Nashville in the room. And I was there. I can totally understand, because y'all did a wonderful job.
In fact, I get goosebumps now just thinking about it.
Absolutely. Brenda, for you, same question. One moment in time. I'm sure there's lots, but what would you say?
Well, again, my installation as governor, I had two past governors also that installed me, and one of them is one of my dearest, closest friends. In fact, we get together from time to time and have dinner, because she lives in Kansas, so that makes it really special. But I think my biggest thing was getting to visit clubs when I was governor-elect and governor, and seeing all the things that they were doing in our district and the difference that they were making. You know, the different clubs have different projects, and we all do something a little bit different, but yet we all do something the same. And that is caring for our communities, and just to be able to work on projects. But I think one of the other biggest things was, when I was governor-elect, we got to go to Joplin, Missouri. They had a horrific tornado with a lot of damage. And we worked with one of the local organizations, and we did an Altrusa district retreat. And we went door to door in neighborhoods, seeing what they still needed. Were they displaced? Were they living someplace that they hadn't been living? Were there items that they needed? And just to hear their stories and to be a part of that was just an amazing event for us.
Altrusan's making a difference. I have to tell you, I've got goosebumps just hearing about that, because that was an awesome thing to do. And for many people, just sharing what has happened is a real form of therapy for them.
Oh, absolutely.
honestly, I wish I could show you. I have goosebumps. What would you say, Brenda, if somebody's watching this program just now and they're thinking about becoming an Altrusan? And Linda, I do take your point, because Aunt Sue Powell drums it into us. You become an Altrusan, you don't join Altrusa. So what would you say, Brenda, to someone who was thinking about Altrusa?
I would say to them that no matter how large or how small a club you may become an Altrusan in, you can make a humongous difference in your communities, whether it's giving books to children, whether it's going to the free lunch program over the summer and reading a book to a child, or working on various other projects. But it's also the friendships. It's the friendships that you make, not only in your local club, but in your district and in international. I can't wait till we can go to international next year and see everybody again, because they do become family, and you're friends on Facebook and you see what they're doing and you stay in touch that way throughout the years between the different international conventions. But it is the friendships, it's the working with like-minded women and men now who want to make a difference in their communities. You don't have to do every project. You don't have to be involved in everything. You pick the things that you really want to be involved in, and you really make a huge difference in your communities. So I encourage anybody on here not watching, if you want information about a club, let Jillian know. She can get you hooked up with a club in your community, and I think you'll be very happy that you did.
Thanks. Linda, what would you say?
I would say don't hesitate. Make the commitment. You'll certainly be happy you did. 30 years ago, when I made the commitment to become an Altrusan, I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. It was a new experience, a new club, new people I had never met before. And I never would have met those ladies had I not become an Altrusan. So I would say don't hesitate when someone asks you. At least go check it out. Some people find out it maybe doesn't fit right for them right now, but don't give up either. One of our club members, I worked on her for 3 years before she finally became an Altrusan, and she has just completed a year as our membership chair and did a fabulous job. So don't ever give up on people, and keep after them, because it's, like I say, it may not just be for everybody, but it's for most of us. And you'll be glad you did, because of the friendships, because of the projects, because of the difference you'll make in people's lives. And that's what's important.
Absolutely. I really want to thank both you ladies for taking time out of your Saturday morning to do this. It's been wonderful getting to know you both a bit better. I mean, I'm one of the lucky few who I have met you both in person, but hold on to our next conferences when we can get to meet and hug, because that's the thing that I'm missing most. And that's why I love doing these podcasts. It's a way of just reaching out and getting to know some Altrusans and helping encourage others. So thanks both ladies, and have a wonderful Saturday.
Thanks for having us, and become an Altrusan.
Thank you. So that was our Ask About Altrusa podcast for today. I would just say to you, as they said, if you know someone that you think might like more information about Altrusa, you can get them in touch with me. You can go on to Facebook. We have our Curious About Altrusa Facebook page. If your club is not already posting to that page, please do. Share the project you're doing. The aim is to allow people to see what all the clubs all over the world are doing. And I do mean all over the world. We are actually working on a plan to do some different broadcasts to cope. I know that Sylvia Silverman and I are planning to do one about clubs at large. We have clubs everywhere. If we don't have a club near you, watch this space. It's going to be coming soon. So until then, please remember, you can go to YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel, you can never miss another podcast, and share the link. Encourage people to get to know a bit about Altrusa. Thank you and have a great weekend.